Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance, Episode 1. We are finally getting into this. This is our next donation reward show, and probably the most different show we've done on here in a long time, because we usually do animated series. And this I would not really count as animated. See, The Dark Crystal Age of Resistance is a prequel series to an old movie called The Dark Crystal that is made using puppets. It is a practical effect puppet series. It's a fantasy show. It's like very high fantasy, use a lot of fantasy creatures and shit. Its own worlds, own mythologies. Otherwise, I know nothing about it. But it's not really what I would call animated. So it's weird. And normally, like, if it weren't an animated series, I probably wouldn't have accepted it as a donation request because I do want to try to keep the channel to animated stuff. But I gave this one a pass because it's close-ish. Plus, I just want to see what the hype is about. Because this series got a lot of hype. Like, it was massively hyped after its release. And again, I never saw the original movie. So I don't know, like, what this world and stuff is all about. Obviously, since this is a prequel, it's fine that I haven't seen the movie. But still. I'm worried about this one as well, not just because it's not animation, but I'm worried about the series because, like, The Dark Crystal, the reason I never saw it is it never seemed like my thing. I was never interested. And when this series was first announced and then came out, it's like the same thing. I was never interested in checking it out. I saw maybe a couple clips, and I don't even know if they were from the original movie or this series. But I saw a couple clips randomly after this series did eventually come out, and it just didn't interest me. Nothing about it like connected with me or grabbed my attention or anything. So I'm worried. I'm concerned that this series is going to be a weaker one for me. That it might even be droppable because, again, I never like base it on other people's opinions and stuff. I form my own. So it's like, even if a shit ton of other people love this, even if it's hell universally loved, that doesn't mean I'll love it. So it's like, I'm worried, you know? I want to love it, don't get me wrong. Like every series I watch on here, I want to love it. But it's like, I can't promise anything, of course. And I just don't know how it's going to turn out. I'm hoping for the best, though. I'm hoping for the best. This is 10 episodes long. I do know that, and I do know that the episodes, at least if all of the episodes follow the first one, are about an hour long each. Though the first one might just be longer, I don't know. Yeah, hard to say what I'm going to think about this at all. Obviously, I've seen what the characters look like. There's these little, like, I don't know how else to describe them, but Who-looking people, you know, like Dr. Seuss Who's. I don't know, they kind of remind me of, like, animal-like Who's. But there's those people, and I guess they're the main race of creatures in this series. But then there's also, I think, like, these giant, like, hunchback bird creatures, which I think I've seen cosplays of at Youmacon and other conventions. But it's like, I know nothing about them. The designs are weird, and especially for the Who-looking things, really freaking ugly. I'm sorry. It's not, and I'm not saying like the characters are ugly. I'm saying the designs are ugly. I'm saying that the designs themselves don't look good. Um, but maybe that's just from an outsider perspective, you could say. Um, to be fair, I mean, I've also seen clips from Labyrinth, the David Bowie movie where he plays Jareth the Goblin King. I've also seen clips from that, despite never seeing the movie, and the puppet creatures look ugly as sin in that one too. So I don't know, maybe that's what they're going for, but I don't know. Um, yeah, otherwise, I just don't know what I'm going to think of this at all. So I'm just saying ahead of time. If I do end up dropping this, I do apologize ahead of time. But I really hope that I end up loving it instead. I hope that it ends up being a fantastic series that just hooks me in. Excuse me. Yeah, but we are only doing one episode today because it is an hour long, and I don't want to overwork myself and everything. I'm trying to keep it, if you've noticed this week, to like one and one. One nostalgia week video and then one reaction. Though on Tuesday I did also do the cooking with Connie thing. So, but for the most part, it's like one nostalgia week, one reaction each day this week. Because I'm trying to get back into doing reactions too, because we've had a lot of time off lately. um, so yeah. Either way. I'm excited to get back into this. I hope you are get into this in the first place. I hope you are too, and yeah, like I said, I hope this is good. So let us get this started. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black, then it fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. Okay, and we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Okay, so I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm not going to waste your time and get to it at the end. I'm just going to say it now before I start my actual thoughts on the episode. I'm not continuing this. This was exceptionally boring. I did not care about anything that was happening. I didn't care about any of the characters. Mira's death didn't affect me at all, for example. Mira was probably the character I liked the most, with probably fighting for that spot with Brea. But I didn't care. It's like her death meant nothing to me. It didn't matter. Um, the puppets are so ugly. Like the designs are so ugly, and again, not in a good way, not good ugly. I'm talking like they're just not good. That it's very distracting. The pacing is horrible. I was checking the time constantly because it felt so much longer and more drawn out than it should have. Hell, I don't think this should have been an hour long thing. It should have been half an hour episodes at most. Um, this hour long format, it does not serve it well. At least not for this first episode. It made it extremely, extremely boring. Extremely slow. Um, Obviously, we have the three stories that are going to come together with these three who are kind of having their eyes open to the evils of the Skeksis. Um, it's kind of an it, it's a plot that's been done way too much, and this falls into there's other tropes that this falls into as well. Like, for example, the one character being the misunderstood and mistreated son of someone important, and being especially the part about being forced to call his father captain instead of, father. Like, come on. That has been so done to death. The one character, like learning the truth from a magical source, all of this shit, the bad guys hiding the truth from those underneath them as a way to like hold on to their power and their status, and for those underneath them to revel them and everything, to praise them. Like, tropes in and of themselves are not bad, and they can be done well. Like with the entire father thing, that trope was done well in Klaus, for example. But when there's this many tropes just strung together, it just feels like that's what the series is made with. And on top of that, again, it wasn't entertaining. It was so slowly paced, it was so boring that I just didn't care. I didn't care about any of the characters, I didn't care about the story, I didn't care about what was happening. It wasn't interesting to me. And as I've stated in the past, that's the number one mood killer for me for any show or movie or game or yada yada. If it's that unnaturally boring and uninteresting to me, it's going to kill my motivation to watch it. Like, there have been shows that I've dropped where I've at least understood the appeal that it's gotten, where I've understood why it was so popular. I don't understand this. It's like, sure, it has a nice fantasy element, it has lore to it, but it's like, what else does it... It has great voice acting, I will give it that, but then again, it has some amazing actors in it, like Darren Edgerton and Helena Bonham Carter and all of that. But it's like, other than those things, it's like, what does it have? It is so freaking boring. Like, seriously, I think this is probably one of the most boring things I have reacted to on this channel. And that includes back with the old channel, too, before that was deleted. I know this is super popular. I know people really like it. I didn't. Like, pretty much at all. There are a couple moments that might have been funny, that might have been slightly entertaining to me, but overall, I just really could not get into this for the life of me. And I tried. I wanted to love it, but it's clearly not for me. But the story, from what I gathered, is that in ancient times, this creature predating I forgot what they're called, the little Who creatures, had the dark crystal, the crystal of knowledge, and gave it to the Skeksis after looking into the stars and, I guess, being guided. Nowadays, the Skeksis are this supremacist race who rules over the Gelflings. That's what they're called, by the way. Who rules over the Gelflings. And had, like, forces these offerings and forces worship and praise to them and stuff. And the Gelflings don't know better. They just think that this is just how things are. And so the story seems to center around these three characters from the three different tribes of the Gelflings. There's Ryan from the one tribe, and he's kind of like this warrior in training, son of the captain of the guard. He's motivated to start his journey, presumably against the Skeksis, after seeing his girlfriend be killed by them, have her life essence stolen, and in just afterwards being devoured by the Skeksis. Then we have this girl who was, I think her name was Dita or something like that. Or no, it was Deet, which was short for Deetra. She's one of the underground Gelflings. And she, after seeing the darkening start to corrupt these these worm-like creatures that she loves, she is told by this magical spirit tree basically what's going on and that she needs to help stop it. So that's her motivation. And then we have the Princess Brea, who starts to see the corruption and everything, starts to see how messed up everything is. When the tithes happen and she sees these poor farmers have to give up this beautiful family heirloom. And then she does some more research into things and realizes none of this makes sense. It's all contradictory. So she steals back the heirloom to give back to the farmer's wife, and presumably this is what's going to lead her to head out as well. Although I think the other two are going to come to her first, because we know for sure that that Deet, whatever you want to call her, she's being led to head to the Almadra, or whatever her name was. So they're going to connect there, and I assume that Ryan, his father's not going to believe him, and so he's probably going to head to the Almadra too. And so they're all going to come together there, and that's probably when they're going to head out. That would be my guess, at least. But yeah. This was just, I could not get into it. I don't know what else to say about it. Like, it's not the fact that it's practical puppetry. It's not the fact that it's not an animation. It's the story, the pacing, the characters. I don't care about any of them. I was not given a reason to care. And again, the ones who I cared the most about would be, again, Mira and Brea, one of which died. And the other of which it's like, also kind of, in a way, Brea is also kind of a tropey character. You know, the princess who's not taken seriously and has to forge her own path away from her royal lineage. Stuff like that. It's like, yeah, we've seen this before. We've seen this shit. So yeah, I can't motivate myself to want to continue this. I actually took a couple minutes after recording the reaction before I started this redirect to really think about it and try to see if I could find any reason to want to continue. I even looked up how long the next episode is. It's, I guess, like 40-something minutes, so not much shorter at all. I can't find a reason to want to continue. Not a single one. Like, maybe I'll end up watching this on my own time, but I do not want to react to this, especially. I apologize for whoever it was, again, that suggested this, that chose this as their donation reward, but it's not for me. I was willing to give it a try, and again, it's not completely horrible, but it's just, I can't will myself to continue reacting to this. Yeah, whoever donated it, please let me know. I do apologize so much. It's just, yeah, there's really nothing I can do about it at this point. I just really did not like it that much. But that kind of brings me to what I want to say next, and that is what is going to replace it. So the next show for the donation reward slot is going to be Miraculous. I have reacted to Miraculous before, and I dropped it because I felt it was too much of the same thing over and over. But I admitted that it wasn't bad, that I did enjoy it. It is just not going anywhere. And I was requested to give it another try as a donation reward by Smurflogs. Because I had said prior to that I was willing to give some shows another try if I dropped them for a dumb reason. And so this is one of them. I will be continuing from where I left off. I'll just quickly go through the synopsises of past episodes to catch myself up. But I'll be continuing from where I left off last time I reacted to it. It's been a long time, which I'll talk more about when I actually get to the get to the reaction for that. But again, I really do apologize for whoever it was that requested Dark Crystal Age of Resistance. I can't do it. Again, maybe I'll be able to watch it on my own time, but I can't react to this. It's just like, it is so unbearably boring. It's just, I mean, even just for the sake of a reaction, I just don't feel like it would lead to good reactions if I'm that bored and uninterested the entire time. So for now, thank you so much for tuning in nonetheless. And if you like this series, if this is a series you love or whatnot, please don't just take my words to heart here. You're perfectly entitled to love this series, and I'm glad that you do. I'm glad that this series has so many people who love it. Just because I don't like it doesn't mean you shouldn't or can't. You should love it. Just, I don't. It's all subjective. It's all personal. So thank you so much once again, and for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.